Video games. There are many different types of video games. Some allow you to maim, kill, and destroy without any of the real-life risks that would normally be present. Some allow you to build giant, magnificent creations in worlds that our minds could never even dream of. And some allow you to be a rock star, playing out your favorite songs on a virtual stage. Video games are becoming an increasingly prominent part in the society we live in today. On average, 65% of US households play video games on a daily basis, and an average of 154 million game consoles and 36.4 million PC systems are sold each year. How many hours a week do you spend playing video games?
A week? I think a day I spend from anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. So I guess a week that would be anywhere from like 24 to 30 hours a week, I'd say.
I probably spend close to like 20 or 30 hours a week playing video games because I have nothing else to do when I get home.
I do a lot of my time playing video games, so I could probably, on a good week, probably log 24 hours of video game playing 4 days.
The average amount of time that gamers spend playing video games is about 18 hours each week, but some don't have that much time to spend on video games, so they fit little bits of gameplay in whenever they can.
How many hours a week do you spend playing video games?
Maybe 3 or 4. Maybe.
2 out of every 5 gamers are female. 26% of gamers are under 18 years old. 49% of gamers are between the ages of 18 and 49. And 25% of gamers are over the age of 50.
How much money have you spent in gaming in your life?
Oh God. I could say easily anywhere from $100 to $400 a year, maybe. Over my life, easily over $1,000.
A lot. Probably each year I spend close to $500-600 a year, every year on video games. It's pretty bad.
That's pretty cool.
But I think it's worth it. I do. You gotta support something. As long as I can afford it, I'll do it.
Gaming life. A lot. Like, a lot. I could probably buy, like, a new car with all the money I've spent on video games.
Life? Probably about $200.
But with the number of gamers and video games growing, the number of misconceptions about them also grow. Many people believe that video games pollute the minds of children, encourage people to do wrong, rot the brain, and deteriorate motor skills. Do you think video games help the mind, as in, like benefit in any way?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it helps. It helps a lot with the obviously hand-eye coordination. It helps with identifying, and it just general knowledge. There's so much random knowledge I've got crammed in my brain just from a video game. Like someone will say a line, and I'll be like, "That's interesting. I never knew that before." Just yes.
Yeah, I definitely think they stimulate your mind, keeps your mind off of things. Like if you're bored, or if you're stressed out, you can play video games and it, like, I don't know, helps you relax and stuff. Everyone always thinks like with the war games and killing people you get all insane and shit, but that's just funny. But people think with the war and stuff it makes you insane, but it really doesn't, because, well, for some people I see it can, but then they're messed up and they need therapy anyway, so that's their own fault. Like, if you're normal, it won't affect you.
Some do. I mean, there's puzzle video games, and especially Nintendo likes to explore into, non-violence and stuff, and like their new game Pushmo. TM.
I wouldn't say they help, but they don't really hurt it. It gives you something to do when you're bored.
Do you think video games are violent?
Of course. Video games, some of the best video games are violent. I mean, this one, Battlefield, one of the best games, and it's a war game. So yeah, video games are violent.
Like, some can be violent. I mean, yeah, of course video games are violent and stuff, but it's just the difference of if it affects you or not. Like I said, I don't think it really should affect you unless you're already psychologically not all there.
Yes, of course they're violent. I mean, every media has some kind of violence. I mean, a soap opera has murders in it, doesn't it? Movies have decapitations. Video games is the only media that gets scrutiny for it.
Well, yeah, most video games are violent
Why are they violent?
because they're usually shooting games or football games where you hit people or boxing or fighting games.
Do you think violence affects kids?
I've researched that question quite a bit, actually. I had a paper on that. And it comes down to the individual and the individual's home life. So violence can affect kids from video games, because but they need to have developed a sense of right and wrong to be able to accurately depict if the violence in the video game is okay or not okay. That helps a lot. But it also just depends on what's the person's, like, how the person's brain is wired, because you can take violence differently than I can. Like, we each depict it differently, obviously. So there's a number of different factors, but yes, it can and it cannot affect kids.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think it really does at all. Like, not necessarily. Like I said, already psychologically not there, then they might tweak out and do something. But that's rare anyway. And usually kids that kill other people are because they get picked on or bullied anyway. It's usually not video games, just because they play a lot of video games because they have no friends, and then they get picked on so much, and then they kill people in school. It's not really video games. It's just people being dumb.
I mean, half the games you play are based around violence. I mean, tag, that's a violent game if you think about it. That's, seeking out and destroying other kids, practically.
Do you play tag with a knife?
Do I think video game violence affects kids or violence?
Video game violence.
Not really, no. They know most kids can discern between a video game and real life.
Whether it be fighting hordes of the undead to stay alive, racing down the moonlit street, fighting neck and neck for first place, or punching out and wrestling your opponent into submission, video games allow you to do the unimaginable, even though the unimaginable is within our reach through video games. It is up to the individual gamer to interpret the reality from the game and make sure to keep the reality and the game separate from each other. I'm Jesse Prowl, and this has been Video Games Inside the Gamer. Special thanks to Junk in the Trunk Studios and Jan Wilkinson Productions. This film has received the official Tim Hoffman seal of approval.